Chapter 2, The Discovery. The village of Tokumi stood quietly next to the coast, surrounded by the sound of the waves and the sea breeze. Its inhabitants were simple people, fishermen who knew the secrets of the sea and the fishing seasons. Among them lived a young man named Ilian, with dark hair and curious eyes, whose destiny was about to change drastically. One morning, while exploring the surroundings of the town, Ilian felt a strange attraction that took him towards the nearby forest. The Scarlet Sword, with its glowing precious stone, called to Ilian from its resting place, a ruined temple, hidden in the thick foliage. The temple, covered in vines and leaves, emanated a mysterious aura. Time seemed to have stopped there, as if the place were outside the known world. Ilian, guided by a force he could not understand, moved cautiously toward the temple. Inside the temple, the Scarlet Sword rested on an ancient stone altar. His glow seemed to fill the room with a warm red light. Ilian approached, feeling a strange connection with the sword. He took it in his hands carefully, and at that moment, a voice echoed in his mind, a voice that spoke in the language of his heart. "You have been chosen, Ilian," the voice whispered in an ethereal tone. "Your pure heart and lack of greed have made you worthy of taking me." Ilian was perplexed, but the feeling of power emanating from the Scarlet Sword enveloped him, and he knew that he could not separate himself from it. The sword had chosen Ilian as its wielder. With the Scarlet Sword in his hand, Ilian felt a surge of energy coursing through his body. The sword, now under his control, seemed to pulse with a life of its own. It was more than just a weapon, she was a companion in his adventure, a keeper of an ancient mystery. Ilian returned to Tokumi with the Scarlet Sword in his possession, but did not reveal his discovery to anyone. He knew that he had to keep the secret safe, at least for now. All the while, the sword guided him, whispering advice and directions in times of danger. Ilian's life changed dramatically as he embarked on a new adventure, driven by the mystery and power of the Scarlet Sword. Along his way, he faced challenges, from greedy bandits to magical creatures seeking to seize the sword. But with the help of his sword and his cunning, Ilian emerged victorious again and again. As he advanced, Ilian realized that the sword was linked to him in a way that went beyond the physical. He could feel his thoughts and emotions shared with the sword, as if they were one. This magical connection between Ilian and the Scarlet Sword led them to face even greater challenges, and deeper discoveries. As they explore a dark enchanted forest, guided by the mystery and power of the scarlet gem at the center of the cross, their path leads them to a clearing bathed in moonlight. In the center of the clearing, they discover an ancient altar surrounded by mysterious luminescent runes. As he approaches, Ilian notices a piece of metal partially buried in the ground near the altar. Upon unearthing it, he reveals the first piece of armor that is part of the Scarlet Sword, an ornate and sturdy pauldron. Continuing on their way, Ilian and the Scarlet Sword head deeper into the enchanted forest. Soon, they hear a hissing rustle in the trees. Emerging from the shadows, they confront a group of magical snakes with sparkling scales and hypnotic eyes. The confrontation is intense and full of danger, as the snakes coil and attack with speed. Ilian fights with bravery and determination, and upon defeating the snakes, he discovers the second piece of armor, a forearm protector, which increases his confidence and stamina. With the Scarlet Sword armor incomplete, Ilian and his magical companion venture deeper into the forest. With every step they take, it gets darker and the sounds around them are hypnotic. The shadows of the trees seem to move by themselves, and the whisper of the wind takes on a haunting melody. The sword, with its scarlet gem shining in the center of the cross, illuminates the path, but its red light casts dancing shadows that increase the sense of mystery. The journey takes them to a clearing bathed in moonlight, where they discover an ancient star map on the ground. The sword guides Ilian to interpret the constellations in the night sky, revealing a crucial clue to the search for him. As he gazes at the stars, Ilian feels that he is connected to the ancient magic that flows through the sword. This moment of contemplation sharpens his intuition and strengthens his bond with the sword. As they advance, they encounter magical creatures that protect the dark forest. The beings are beautiful and terrifying at the same time, with eyes that seem to hold ancient secrets. The battle that follows is a test of courage and skill, as the creatures use magical abilities to attack. Ilian steps into the fray with confidence, taking advantage of his connection to the sword to unleash defensive and offensive spells. By defeating the creatures, he gains a deeper sense of the magic that flows through the Scarlet Sword and its scarlet gem at the center of the cross. As they advance through the forest, they come to a deep and tumultuous river. Crossing it, they face a flock of aquatic creatures with sharp fangs and glowing fins. The confrontation is a challenge, and Ilian demonstrates his prowess by defeating the aquatic creatures. As he does so, he finds the third piece of armor, a greave that protects his leg, giving him greater agility. These pieces of armor, along with the cross of the Scarlet Sword, form a set that feels increasingly complete and powerful. Ilian's adventure truly began, and the mystery surrounding the sword only intensified. The voice in his mind and the magical power of the Scarlet Stone guided them towards a destination still unknown, while the young fisherman became an unexpected hero in a story that embraced magic, intrigue and the decision of a pure heart.